So welcome to the Exhibitor training number 1 for Build Show Live. This session really is to walk people through the Lead Insights platform, which exhibitors will benefit from at Build Show Live later this year. So just to show how it benefits you and how it can be best used on site to maximize your ROI from leads and also your time at the show. I guess one thing I want to kick off with is I'm very cognizant that not all of the exhibitors at Build Show Live currently have lead retrieval. So I just want to highlight at the top of this call that whether you have lead retrieval or not, Lead Insights is still a really, really valuable platform in terms of visualizing your leads. For those on the call that don't have lead retrieval, that is something you can optionally add on, and that would ensure that you also benefit from any badge scans on site at the event. But as I said, if you don't have that and you're just using the event app, and I'll give a rundown of that in a moment, you will still get leads. Probably a smaller volume, if I'm going to be completely honest, and potentially slightly less warm leads, because scanned booth leads are inherently a hotter prospect. But you will get the same data about each lead, irrespective of whether they're booth scans or through the conference app. Also, at any point, if you have a question, please pop it in the chat. When I'm sharing my screen, I won't be able to see it, but my colleague Shana and Fergal are on the call, so they can let me know to answer the questions. Perfect. So let me kick off by just giving you a quick rundown of, I guess, your full digital package at the event and what that potentially looks like. So let me share my screen. Please let me know if you can see what I'm sharing.
Yeah, we can. Looks all good, Sarah.
Okay, perfect. So I guess the first question is, how are leads generated at Build Show Live? And that's done in a number of ways. So the major way is through your Build Show Live app or your Build Show Live website login, where you would build your sort of booth information page, and this would count for a lot of your pre, during and post show interactions. So to give a little flavor of what those leads or interactions look like, they could be anything from content, booth or product views, bookmark profiles and products. If you request, or if anyone requests meetings with you, any meetings you schedule, and then any content downloaded and on-demand views. So I guess my first bit of advice when looking at your exhibitor profile, whether that be through the browser or the app, is I would definitely say make this as full and with as much information as you possibly can, because that really does drive a lot more interactions from attendees. And then the second option, or the second part of the puzzle, I would say, as I mentioned, if you do have lead retrieval as part of your package, or you decide to upgrade to include lead retrieval, you have your at-show interactions, which are badge scans on site. And then if you have any sessions or networking drinks that you are sponsoring, those are also scanned and will filter through to your dashboard as sessions attended. So that's kind of a quick rundown of the overview of the digital package that forms part of the event. I guess I'll stop quickly at this point and just ask if anyone has any questions or concerns before I move on to what Lead Insights is. I guess silence is golden. Okay, let me just open the Lead Insights account and I will show you what it looks like. Give me 1 minute.
While you're looking, I'll just chime in. This is
Sure.
Melissa Marston. I'm one of the sales reps for Build Show Live. If you are an exhibitor and you are unsure if you have lead retrieval, please just reach out to one of your sales rep, and we can let you know if you do or do not. We do offer it as a minimal cost for you and a savings if you book it ahead of time through your sales rep.
Perfect. Okay, so let me share my screen. Again, please someone let me know when you can see what I am looking at.
We can see.
Fabulous. So in this instance, I'm using a demo account, and it's actually a demo account from World of Concrete, which is another infrastructure and construction event in January. And to start with, you will see the client name here. So when you log into your Lead Insights account, this is where you'll be able to see your name. One thing I want to show you before I go into the nitty gritty of what the platform actually does, and it's a question I get quite often from exhibitors, is can I add my other colleagues to the Lead Insights dashboard? The answer is yes. You're unlimited in the number of colleagues you can add to your Lead Insights dashboard. And this can be done here by going to My Team and just adding as many people from your team as you want. So if you have multiple people on site at the show, and you want them to be able to look at what leads are coming in, or even if you've got some marketing colleagues back at the office, fine, add them all. You're unlimited in the number of colleagues you can add to this platform. So this is Lead Insights, and the way I would describe Lead Insights is basically your dashboard to visualize any of those leads I went through in one place. So instead of having to look at, a lead scanner and the app and pull multiple different spreadsheets down and look at all of the leads you get, Lead Insights is essentially a one-stop shop for looking at them all in one place. It's very intuitive once you start using it, and it's pretty straightforward, but I will go through it with you now. So here at the top is your insight summary. Where it says total campaigns here, I think the verbiage is a bit confusing, but it essentially means the number of events you've attended while using Lead Insights. So if you attend Build Show Live in 2026 and 2027, it would all be on the same dashboard, and this would show as two. But in this instance, this client seeker has attended one event, which is World of Concrete. At this one event, they've got a total of 514 leads. I'll show you how that's broken down in a moment. And you can see that 100% of these are unique lead contacts that are engaged in just this one campaign, which checks out because they've only got one product on there. But say you had 2 events, 3 events, you could see how many of them are unique to just one of the events or how many of them are duplicate interactions. So that's kind of your overview there. And then as you scroll down, this is where you can get into the nitty gritty of where these leads are coming from. So you can see here the events World of Concrete 2025. And this exhibitor, the majority of their leads are made up from where they've been bookmarked as an exhibitor. So essentially, someone's visited your company's listing on the app or via the web browser for the app and bookmarked you. This is scheduled session. So a delegate has added a scheduled session or a sponsored session to their custom agenda. And then quite a few of them come from badge scans. Obviously, that's on site at the event, physically scanning the badges of people that you interact with. My one piece of advice when it comes to badge scanning, a lot of companies I see just scan anyone that comes to their booth, which is great. You'll see a huge number of leads on your Lead Insights dashboard, but one thing I would bear in mind is what is the qualification of those leads. So you can, if that's your strategy, scan anyone that you want. But from my personal advice, it would be qualify the people somewhat with the conversations you're having before you scan them, because that's going to save you time when you get back off the show or when you're looking at your report, at the end of the day, versus still having a huge list of people to filter through. So that's kind of your overview there. Again, this pie chart can be exported if you want to visualize it, if you have to show ROI when you head back to the office and so forth. But then as you go down is where you can see the account or individual engagement levels. So you can either see it by company or, as I said, by individual here. As this is a test account, it doesn't show the full extent, but this is how it will display to you. So you'll be able to see the name of the attendee, their rough job title, their company, how many of the events, if you have more than one, they've attended, and what their engagement level is. So this engagement level score here is what Lead Insights does that a lot of other digital platforms or products don't do. We score all of your leads based on how engaged they are with you and your products at the event. And engagement can be based on all of those interactions I showed at the start of this webinar. I'll also paste that PDF into the chat for you to have. But as you can imagine, someone who visited your digital booth pre-show and bookmarked you, sent you a meeting invite and a message, and then was scanned at your booth is obviously going to be a much higher engagement level than someone who just favorited a piece of your content. for example, and that's how this works. So it's a way to help you segment and prioritize your leads based on how much interest, interaction, and engagement they've had with you. So as I said, you could do that by accounts or individuals. And then as you get lower down, you can then go into the additional infographic and firmographic information that Lead Insights as a platform adds to all of your leads. So one thing quite a lot of clients like is being able to see leads by geography. So you can see here, unsurprisingly, the majority of the leads for this World of Concrete client are from the US, but we can see where else across the globe they've got leads from. You can also see by industry, which would be based off of their company and AI scraping of the internet of what we do. So we basically bolster this information on them. We've also got there will be company revenue breakdown as well as company employees as well. So they're all different ways that you can look at your leads depending on what you want to prioritize or what your priorities are. Okay. Any questions on that first page of the Lead Insights platform? Is there something in the chat?
Nothing in the chat yet.
Okay, perfect. So then the next way you can look at it is just by going to leads, which is where you get your full list of all of your leads in one place. Again, you can export this as one big list, or you can prioritize it in different ways and export it in different ways. So you can, of course, manage the columns and toggle things on and off based on what's important for you to see. So let's say we don't want industry, we can remove that. Of course, it didn't work on the one demo, but you can remove that and make it exactly how you want. One of the things you can do with leads, and I'll show you in a minute, is favorite them. So you can just select to see your favorites, and that could be based on who you've qualified or who you think your hottest leads are. But then when you click in to the leads, excuse me, is when you can see a bit more information. So here you see Jennifer Whitaker. She's a technical brewer from Canicom USA. She's given consent with her phone number and her email address. She's a very, very high lead. The reason she's a high lead is because she came to the booth and had her badge scanned. And then on the right hand side here, you can see all notes. So notes will feed through from the event app that you use on site if you want to make notes that way, or directly through Lead Insights itself, but they amalgamate all into one place. And then the one thing I do really want to highlight as sort of, I would say, one of the most important features when using Lead Insights on site at a show is this ideal customer profile. So, if going into an event you have, I don't know, 3 or 4 target profiles that you're looking to meet and do business with, you can set them up as ideal customer profiles in this part of the Lead Insights platform. So hypothetically speaking, let's say you're really interested in meeting people from Canada who come from a small company and work in a specific industry. You can set this up as an ideal customer profile, or CEOs from Germany who work in an industry, another ideal customer profile, or new business in X, Y, and Z, another one. And the way that this works, as you can see here, this one has been set up as US leads. It automatically filters your leads into each of the profiles that you set up, and you can export them. So you can export your ideal customers in segmented buckets again, versus it being one really huge long list of people that you have to filter through. Any questions at this point? Okay. The only other thing I will show you is when you are on your leads, you can also filter by any of the things I've shown you. But one thing that's really useful when on site at an event, this is if you do have lead retrieval and you've got multiple members of your booth scanning, you can also filter by scanned by. So let's say Adam Johnson specifically wants to know which of the leads in that total list of 500 were his. Well, Adam needs to do a bit more work on site as he's only scanned one, but you can see that he's got one lead there, and that's someone that he probably should follow up with, given that he will have had the conversation with them at the booth itself. And then here, just to finish up, you've got your export history. So you can see who's exported what, when. Inquiries, any questions, any concerns, anything you need help with regards to Lead Insights, please submit an inquiry. It comes directly to myself and my team, and we can answer that for you. And then finally, there's a link here to an FAQs page. So you can have a browse. Any questions you have, this likely will be able to answer them for you. And that is Lead Insights, a whistle-stop tour. Happy to take any questions, any concerns, anything. Okay. Very straightforward. Well, if anyone thinks of any questions after this, please feel free to drop us a note. As I said, I'm going to add that interactions diagram into the chat now. But yeah, I will be at Build Show Live, so I look forward to seeing everyone there. And have a lovely rest of your day.